The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley Show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some magic.
It is magic time. Hello, and welcome once again to the Warren and Bradley Show. This is episode 17 of the program. I'm one of your hosts, Bradley.
And I'm the other host, Warren.
I don't know why I keep trying to say what episode it is, because I might be wrong, and then that will just ruin the entire...
Every time you do it, we look at each other and wonder if you're right. That does seem like a very high number to me, but I guess that's right. It could be right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 17. We're rolling along here.
Yeah.
This is longevity.
I gotta get the cigarette out.
Nobody thought we would make it this long.
No, I don't know.
Nobody cares if we made it this long.
We could go on for a long time, I guess.
Now, I keep talking to people who are regular listeners who are always very pleased with the shows. They'll talk to me like, oh, I love this, blah, blah, blah. But then whenever we ask for any sort of interaction with the audience, these same people are always silent. Because I think they think that everybody else will do it. You know, it's that kind of that attitude of like, somebody else will do it. Somebody else will write in. Somebody else will give a suggestion. But if everybody thinks that... It was, remember you mentioned the Kitty Genovese murder.
Oh, yeah.
Where everybody was witnessing this woman being attacked and stabbed and raped.
It's exactly the same.
And they're thinking, someone else will call the police. Of course, people... I mean, look at this spectacle out there. She's screaming. There's a man jabbing her. Of course they called the police.
You people are like those people in Queens many years ago who refused to step in.
Aren't you part of our society? Come on. It's funny because I've had similar situations, though, where when I lived in L.A., I remember a couple times, I mean, you're always hearing gunshots. Mm-hmm. And when we lived in sort of East Hollywood, which isn't the nice part of Hollywood, it's like, I don't know, none of the touristy area. It's kind of near... No, nobody gives a shit. But anyway,
in case you're trying to find Brad's old apartment.
It's sort of like Little Armenia-ish area. So it wasn't a dangerous neighborhood, but... Every once in a great while, the distant gunshots would become close gunshots.
Mm-hmm. And that would happen.
Yeah. And there was one time when there were gunshots literally like right down on the street, right in front of our apartment. And so my girlfriend, neither of us were from there, but I had lived there for a couple of years and she had never been there and was just freaked out. It's like, call the cops, call the cops. I was like, meh. What's the point? It's like, somebody could be shot. And he's like, we'd probably hear somebody screaming or something.
But that's what happens eventually, though.
Yeah.
But then everyone just goes,
You just develop that sort of mentality. Because if you reacted to every little thing that ever happened in a giant big city filled with crime and you know, automatic weapon fire, then that's all you'd be doing is have cops on the speed dial and they'd be like, who is it? Oh, God, not you again.
More gunshots, officer.
So finally, I relented and called the police and... It's like, there was several gunshots down on our street. Where do you live? We live at this address. All right. It's like, so are you going to send a car out? I'm like, yeah. And they just hung up the phone. Very rude. Anytime I've ever had to call the police in L.A., they were extremely rude.
There's supposed to be this thing there, I've heard, where you can call 911 and then be put on hold for a long time.
That's happened to me before, too.
Yeah, which seems to defeat the purpose of having 911.
If you're actually being attacked at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, could you wait? I need to tell them what's happening.
We're swamped right now.
But I remember my girlfriend was really annoyed by this because we were both from the Pacific Northwest, where if anything happens, you call the police and you'll have a SWAT team there within 2 minutes. And so she was looking out the window waiting for the cops to come to investigate this shooting or whatever had happened. And I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes later, a cop car slowly drove down our street. And who knows if that even had anything to do with the fact that we had called the police. But they're just moseying along. They can't be bothered. So what was the point of all this? Oh, yeah. Our listeners who...
What a digression that was.
I know, that was a horrible digression. Our listeners who enjoy the show, let's get interactive with the show. We'll post questions on Facebook every once in a while. Little polls. We want some listener input. And if you just want to have a general conversation, write to podcast@warrenandbradley.com.
Please do.
So, it was your girlfriend's birthday yesterday.
Yes.
How old is she now?
I can get into that.
Well, it's not bad. She's young.
You're not supposed to talk about a woman's age.
But she's in her 20s.
It's a thing. You're not supposed to do it.
No, that's when she's like a middle-aged wife.
I don't think you're supposed to ever ask a woman her age.
No, that's ridiculous.
Or speak about her age.
So a little 6-year-old girl, you're like, how old are you, sweetie? And she's like, ugh.
I think pre-pubescent, you're allowed to do it.
But I think you're wrong. I think
No. This is, I think it's an etiquette thing. You're not supposed to ask a woman her age.
24, 25.
She's in her mid-50s.
Okay. I'm not asking her. I'm asking you.
Oh, well, I'm not going to spread things around.
The horrible rumor about her age, which is the truth.
People are speculating. Nobody knows. I'm not going to.
I'm pretty sure she's 24, but I don't know.
We also had a surprise birthday for our good friend Nathan, who turned 30.
Yeah.
He's a man, so I will say that how old he turned. And we were at a local dance club, and we had this party there, and we were playing pool.
Oh, yeah.
IT guy John was there, as well as you. And I was at the pool table, like, cleaning up, taking care of some business.
Oh, no, I know what you're going to talk
and
about.
And as I was heading around the table, I heard you guys, like, talking, and it was all about magic again.
It's not magic.
Wasn't it magic?
No, it was about Mass Effect 3.
Oh, about aliens and stuff.
Aliens, yeah.
Oh,
There's
yes.
a difference. Well, I mean, it's like kind of fantasy sci-fi, so I guess it is sort of magic in a way if you think about it.
It sounded magical to me.
But no, this is the thing. We both really like this game. John, our IT guy, is more of a gamer than I am, probably. He plays quite a bit, and I usually, every once in a while, there'll be a game that just grabs my attention, and I have to play it. But then I might go months without popping on the old Xbox. But this game in particular, I think a large segment of the country is enamored with it right now, so I don't think it's a nerdly thing to be pursuing. It's an enjoyable game. It's a cinematic experience, one in which your situation or the choices you make within the game affect the outcome of the game, and this has been carrying over.
I'm pretty sure that's every video game.
Well, no, but this is like a huge intertwined plot that started in the first game, and this is now the third game where it's all coming to a close. So all the choices you made throughout the first two games and into the third are finally being. Well,
I think I remember IT guy John playing the original game and like having sex with a green alien or something at one point.
A blue alien,
and him being like pretty pleased about that. And
I broke up
just
with her
shrugging and like not understanding why he was doing that or why it's important to do that. Are you having sex with aliens in this new one?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, good.
You're a lot more monogamous in this one because basically
with a human or an alien.
Well, it depends. You have to pick. But in the other one, you could kind of play around a little bit, play the field. But this time, basically, the galaxy could end. It's high stakes, and so
if you cheat on your significant other. Oh no.
If
you have other things on your mind.
Other things on your mind.
You're like, I only have time for this monogamous relationship right now because the galaxy is at stake.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's all on your shoulders. So we've talked about this plot before when we were talking about alien species uplifting humanity.
Yeah.
And it's basically, someday I'll explain in detail the entire plot to you, and you'll be wowed.
Stay tuned for that podcast.
Well, I don't know if we'll do it on the podcast, because that could take hours and hours and hours.
Podcast.
But I'm sure you'll be very impressed. So I had a slightly disturbing experience the other day. This isn't a street freak of the week. It is just a general freak of the week. We don't have any music for this because I can't be bothered.
This is just somebody that annoyed you.
Not annoyed me, but it was a similar sort of feeling you get from a street freak encounter, except it wasn't a street person.
Freak.
A freak of the week,
Definitely.
I guess. Okay, so basically, I was doing a job. Some of you may or may not know that I do construction work, which is quite rewarding and fulfilling. Mm-hmm. And I was working out on the Indian reservation. Mm-hmm. But this was for like the rich white people who live in a certain part of the Indian reservation.
Yeah.
And the Indians keep trying to kick them off all the time. Anyway, that's a whole other story. There was this old man who was out there who was like, I guess the maintenance man or something. Mm-hmm. And it was a very big house, very expensive house, rich people. And he was kind of puttering around doing I think he was like fixing a fence or something at one point. And I had to go to the bathroom very badly.
Yeah.
There was no outhouse. There was no no area outside where I could really go without being observed. This could be a whole other show, just me talking about trying to piss all the time while I'm working.
We'll put that one up after we put the Mass Effect show. That'll both be very good.
It's always an issue. Like, usually you can crawl behind a shed or something and piss on a wood pile, but occasionally you'll be in the middle of a neighborhood where there's been situations where I've been pissing thinking I'm unobserved, and then look up in a window and see some old woman like staring at me as I'm just open and for all the world to see. Anyway, I'm scouting around trying to find a place to pee, and this old guy, he's got to be like 72, 73. He comes up to me and he gets kind of this sly smirk on his face.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, "You gotta make water?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, gotta go to the bathroom. Is there anywhere I can go here? I don't want to knock on the door and do the whole rigmarole, take your boots off and all that shit. And he's like, it's like, I was gonna maybe go behind that shed. He's like, "Oh, no, don't do that. You see that?" He points to the corner of the house, and there's one of those little circular security cameras up there that has the 180-degree view, Yeah. And he said that apparently the lady of the house had warned him before that she was tired of seeing him pissing behind the shed.
She's just watching this camera all the time?
The way he told it sounds as though she's there the whole time with like a little joystick controlling the camera, zooming in on his shriveled penis as he's going to the bathroom. I doubt that's the case, but he made it sound like, "Oh my God, you don't want to do that. She'll see. She'll get upset." So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to just go somewhere and go to the bathroom. It's like, no. Go in the shed. I've got a jar. You've got a pee jar in there? It's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go pee in the jar. What should I do with the jar afterwards? It's like, "Oh, you just leave it in there." Like, really? Isn't this the shed that they use too? It has gardening supplies and like a lawnmower and things like that. It's like, "Oh, no, it's fine. Just leave it in there." I don't know about that, but I go into the shed, take the jar, urinate in it, almost fill it up. I was a little worried that I was going to...
I know when I pee into things, you always pee more than you think you do.
Well, and you don't... I guess I could look up the average amount of urine that most people have in their bladder, and then I could gauge, because I've had to pee in bottles and things before at the border. But, you're always kind of wondering, and it does seem to always push the envelope every time you have to do that. Anyway, I pee in the jar. I come out with the pee jar in my hand, and now I'm thinking, okay, if this woman is watching on her little security camera, she sees me with a jar of urine leaving. I don't know what she's thinking. The guy comes up, he sees me with the jar, and he's like, "Oh, whoa!" I'm like, I was gonna go dump this out. He's like, no, just leave it in the shed. That's okay. I'll just dump it out in the ditch there. There's like a little culvert with water flowing through it. He's like, no. Leave it in the shed. And then I start getting this feeling like he really wants me to leave my urine in his little job shack where I don't know if he has a hammock that he goes and sleeps in there. And I didn't want my urine in his presence. And I don't know what he was going to do with the urine. He probably wasn't going to do anything with the urine. But he wasn't giving me a compelling reason why I should leave it in the shed. He was just being very adamant that I should leave it in there.
That's strange.
And so I took the jar of urine and I started walking towards the ditch like I was going to dump it in there. He's like, no. And he starts getting agitated. And then he actually grabbed my hand to like get the jar of urine out of my hand.
What?
And I was like, what are you doing, old man? Let me dump my urine jar. And he's grabbing it and it sloshes over and gets urine on both of our hands. And he gives me this accusing look like, "Oh my God, what have you done?" I was like, "Listen, I'm going to dump my urine in this ditch, okay?"
Yeah.
And he was really angry about it. What is that?
I don't know.
What is he... Okay, there's... Howard Hughes was collecting his own urine and feces and fingernail clippings. Does this guy collect other people's urine?
The only thing I can think of, like, he's like... The lady of the house doesn't like urine everywhere. So it's like, don't put the urine in the culvert. But the thing is, what is he going to do with the urine?
This was across the street,
Well, the other thing is, like, what is he going to do with the urine eventually anyways?
I don't know.
Somebody's going to have to deal with that urine at some point.
I had a feeling what was coming into my mind was that he was going to drink my urine.
You know what? It's not the least likely.
What other reason? Is it the kind of thing where he has to wait until she leaves the house and then he has a special urine disposal area that he dumps the urine and then covers it with concrete or something and digs? There wasn't any good compelling reason that I could see for me to leave my urine in the shed, other than he wanted to do something with the urine. And whatever he might have wanted to do with my urine was something that I did not want him to do.
Would you feel violated if it did something weird with your urine?
I wouldn't feel violated necessarily, because
Let's give him the urine then.
Yeah, but I don't know, it's creepy. Would you have given him the urine? Would you have left it in the shed if he was that adamant about it?
Yeah, I would have left it in the shed.
Would you have thought twice about it?
I probably would have thought it was weird, but I would have been like, yeah, whatever, he can have the urine. I don't care, you know what I mean? I don't need the urine. I'm just going to dump it out anywhere.
I don't know. He was just...
He wants to use it.
He had this kind of furtive, sort of Gollum-y look to him.
Well, if he's a urine drinker, he's going to look like that.
I just didn't trust him with my urine.
They're not usually the most virile, healthy, good-looking people. They're creepy.
That's supposed to be good for you.
Well, if you're dehydrated, it's not the worst thing to do.
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, since then, if he's been around, I just have to hold it. And I've almost wet myself several times on that job.
Now you're just letting him...
He is controlling my life right now and my bladder health. But
just go in next time, get the jar. It's probably still in there, right? Pee in the jar and just leave it in there for him. You'll be happier because won't have to pee all the time. He'll have his urine to drink. It just works out better for everybody, right?
Maybe it's some kind of thing where he's actually like 185 years old, but if he drinks the urine of a virile young man,
I don't know what he'd be doing with your urine then.
Oh, come on.
There's nothing worse than like having to pee really bad or having to poop really bad and not being able to do it.
Oh yeah.
And you forget that until you get in that situation. You're like, man, this is not good. I really, really wish I was at a toilet right now.
I was just raging about this the other day when I was editing our last episode. The fact that I have to get up, go into the bathroom, pull my pants down, and excrete urine into a toilet pisses me off so much.
So to speak.
Pardon the pun. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I find it so irritating. I'll be sitting there like, editing away, cutting and pasting and crossfading and all these things, and of course I'm drinking tons of Dr. Pepper while I'm doing this because I gotta keep going, gotta keep sharp. I have a problem too that once I start urinating when I'm drinking something, it's like every 30 minutes I'll have to go again because I'm taking in so much liquid.
Yeah,
and I get to the point where I'm like, nah, fuck you, I'm not gonna go to the bathroom. And it starts.
Terrible.
It hurts.
Why? Oh, don't do that.
It gets worse and worse. And I'm like actually shaking, like holding it as much as I can. Then you get to the point where you're crimping the end off. I don't know what girls do.
What are you doing?
Well,
That's insane.
It's not like I'm putting like a twist tie on it or anything, but I'm just like, I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to give in to my bladder.
Oh, you got to give in. You're supposed to gotta pee.
I know. And then finally it's just like, fuck you, fine. And I run into the bathroom and just, the angry piss that I take.
Oh, this is strange. You know, they have these things that you can put on there, like that you can wear.
The catheter or whatever.
Yeah. Or the thing, it's like a little condom thing you put over there, and then you pee into it. And you should get one of those. If you're so annoyed, then you can just dump it out, or you can bring it to that guy on the job site and give it to him to drink every day.
It's not even the fact that I have to get up and do it. It's just the fact that it's necessary at all. Who is that philosopher that talked about you're basically a mind in slavery to a body, or you're a consciousness in slavery to a body or something like that? I can't remember. There's some quote. And that's how I feel sometimes. There's this stupid...
But that's a crazy way to think.
I guess.
Because you are your body.
Yeah.
The idea that there's some mind and there's some body and they're not linked at all. And you're trapped in this body. You are that body. That's you.
Yeah, but sometimes I definitely feel like I am not linked to the body, and it's demanding things of me like, I'm hungry. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. I'm busy.
So you want to be some sort of like pure ray of like energy that just is like all consciousness?
Like the Star Child at the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's what you're going for?
Maybe.
And so you can like make your ridiculous podcast as this weird...
Well, I wouldn't even have to record it. I could just appear.
Yeah.
My thoughts would appear in everybody's head. Like, hello, everybody.
So enlightened. Then you talk about... You wouldn't be able to tell stories about peeing though anymore.
That's true.
I don't know what you talk about if you're just this pure consciousness.
Well, think of all the space and time that would free up if I wasn't urinating all the time or thinking about how much I hate urinating. I could probably do something good for the galaxy.
But what's the point at that point, though?
I don't know.
Exactly. I have never had I've had the problem where I've had to go and I haven't had a place to go. Mm-hmm. I've never felt like annoyed having to do it.
Maybe I'm the only one.
I find it's like it's like a tension, and it's like relaxing. You're like, I gotta do something. And you're like, that's good to have that out of there. It's like having something in your skin or like a sliver and like pulling it out. You know, it's good to get that out of there. It's satisfying in some way.
I might be behind you with the sliver thing, but I get pissed. I have to stop saying that. I get I was about to say I get urinated as a substitution for pissed. I get angry whenever I have to piss, and the eating thing too pisses me off sometimes.
Oh,
too.
I know you don't relish eating, do you?
Well, I mean, I don't mind it when I'm doing it, but the fact that I have to do it or I'll die, it's irritating.
The weird thing, the way you talk, it makes it sound like you were like working 16 hours a day at some like great.
No, it's not like I don't have the time to do it. It's just
you have plenty of time. You're not doing anything that important.
Oh, come on. I just don't like the fact that you have. I don't like.
You're
not
Michelangelo making the Sistine Chapel, and you're like can't be bothered to go pee.
Maybe I am working on some great work, and you don't know. And if I didn't have to piss and eat and drink water and
you
sleep,
get Mass Effect done like 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have the next one.
All right.
So let me tell you what happened to me the other day.
Yes.
So I go into a local coffee shop, and I see this girl we know in common, and she goes, "Oh, how are you?" And I go, "Oh, how are you?" And she's in line in front of me, and she's looking a little tired. She goes, "I'm not well. I've had a little bit too much to drink last night. I'm feeling a little, she looked a little hungover and stuff."
Okay, well, she was doing this in kind of a conversational
way.
just
conversational.
Okay.
And so I went, "Oh, yeah." And so I took my hand and motioned towards my mouth. Like I made like a circle with my hand.
Ooh, but she thought you were doing the cock-sucking motion?
Well, that was the problem. I was taking it like I was grabbing a cup, you know what I mean? Like dumping it in my mouth, which looks like the cock-sucking.
Well, but you're making... Okay, nobody can see this right now, but Warren is actually making a ring with his thumb and forefinger.
So it does look like a cock-sucking thing.
So it looks like the cock-sucking thing. When you do a cup, you have
like this.
An open hand.
That would have made more sense. So I did that, and then she went, huh? Like raised her eyebrows. I was like, what are you implying? And I was like... And I thought about what I was doing, and I went, oh... And I did the thing where I like put up my pinky and like did like, oh, I'm drinking. And she was like, yes. And I was like, good.
So did she really think that you meant cocksucking first?
No, I think.
And then when she went, what? You're like, oh, it wasn't cocksucking. Was it drinking instead?
I think she was just like a little taken aback at first because I guess thinking on it, I was doing like that, like ooh, like thing, and like that's why you're so hungover.
Did you have the tongue in the cheek and the whole 9 yards?
And I just wasn't. This is the problem I have.
Does anyone get hungover with sucking cock though?
You have to. I guess you'd have to suck a lot of cock probably.
I don't know.
But this is the thing I have when I see people I don't like to see people I know when I'm just out in public. It throws me off, and I try to get away because it's like I'm always like thinking my own thoughts or I'm doing my own thing, and it's really like I don't know what to say, and it catches me off guard. And next thing you know, I'm like motioning like cock sucking to somebody just because I'm like I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. Like
so it's the context of when you're seeing somebody.
Oh yeah, I'm fine if like I know I'm going to see somebody, or if I'm like at a bar and somebody comes in and I know, and I'm like oh blah 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 blah. What if you're just like going into the grocery store and I come around a corner and I see someone I know? My first instinct is to turn around and go down the other aisle to get away from them, and I try to hide from people.
And hide.
Yeah, because I don't want to get in those conversations, especially when it's people that you just kind of know, maybe somebody from high school or something, somebody you haven't seen in years, and it's like you have nothing to say to this person, but you feel like you have to talk to them, and it's like I don't even want to get involved in that, so I just want to dodge away.
Context is important. I have that issue where when I'm working, I'm wearing work clothing, and I think I look like I probably don't, but in my mind I'm a completely different person than the person that my friends see me as. And if anyone sees me like in my Carhartt jacket and dirty clothes, I'm just like, I don't know you. And I act in a very kind of standoffish, weird way because it's uncomfortable to me for some reason. And it's not like I'm embarrassed or anything. It's just like, this is the work Brad, and then there's the social Brad, and never the twain shall meet kind of thing.
I think there's by himself Warren, and then like social Warren. And even when I'm out in public, when I'm by myself, I'm by myself. You know what I mean?
Well, anyone I know who has seen you just trucking along, you're always walking with your iPod or whatever. They always comment on the fact that you seem like you're in your own little world, like you're not paying attention.
No, I don't pay attention to what's going on around me. I'm thinking about something else. And this happens too with people with cars. And they drive by and they honk or they wave, and I don't wave or honk or honk back. Of course, that'd be very odd if I tried to honk. And I just keep going. And so now what I do, of course, is whenever I hear someone honk, I always just throw up my arm and wave to try to like make sure, like just in case.
Like fuck you if you don't even look over your shoulder.
Yeah, just like, hey, I'm acknowledging you. I don't know, but the other honk thing, it's like, what's the point though?
Well, I make a point if anybody ever honks ever, I never look at the honk ever. So it could be a friend like beep beep, hey Brad, and I'll just totally ignore it. It could be somebody like about to run through an intersection because their brakes don't work and they're honking their horn to warn people. I won't look because it irritates me.
Yeah. Well, this happened the other day.
I don't like people drawing attention to themselves.
I was leaving work and I was walking to a bar to watch some basketball with some people. I was walking down the street and there were these two like girls running at me, like, and they're running, and I was like, oh, it's just some people, and I was walking at them, and there were two people I know. But I didn't like recognize who they were, and they were like waving their arms. I was like, why are these people waving their arms? Until they were like right up waving their arms at me, like, and I was like, oh, it's you people.
Were they waving their arms just to get your attention?
Yeah, because I was like walking at them and not acknowledging them at all. I was just like, because I didn't even recognize them. I didn't even think about it being people I would know. I don't know.
Yeah, you see them all the time, whatever.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't like to be disturbed when I'm just walking about.
That's that girl thing where they see somebody who they just saw that morning, and then they go, oh my God, and wave and honk, and then they hug each other, and like,
yeah.
I'm not very good at the, oh, I just bumped into somebody response, because people will be like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, hello. How are you?
It's fine. Good to see you. Goodbye.
Sometimes I do a little like half salute kind of thing with one finger. It looks like I'm pointing to my brain. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Trying to think right now. Don't bother me.
Yeah. Speaking of how women are.
Oh.
We had
good transition.
A little bit of a response from the last episode. Some people think that we are purposefully trying to cast women in a negative light.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Which is not the case. We're just having a good time. But I thought I'd source some facts because, we mentioned last time about the whole women are weaker than men thing. It's true. But we also thought we would look into other things that perhaps women do better than men.
Yes.
So this is going to be our How Women Are Better. See how I did?
How Women Are Positive Edition.
Positive Edition.
They say things that don't make any sense, and then they do things that make even less sense than the things they said that didn't make any sense. How they want you to buy them fancy jewels, but when you give it to them, they say you're a fool. Whoa, 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 whoa. 'Cause that's how women are. Yeah, that's how women are. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All right, you angry ladies, get ready. Enjoy this. This is the only time it's going to happen.
Here are some of the stereotypes about women. Women can't drive. Well, this is a ridiculous stereotype for one thing, because as we all know, insurance companies charge higher rates to insure men than they do women, and the reason for that is because women get in fewer accidents. That being said...
Don't ruin them.
No. Often the reason for this is because women drive slower than men and are not as aggressive when they drive, which is a good thing. There's also another reason, though, Warren.
Why is that?
Well, actually, this isn't a reason why women are better drivers.
Well, then I rescind my question.
This is a reason why people might think that women are worse drivers, is their sense of direction is not as good as men. Now, hear me out. Women are good at picking a route and noticing certain landmarks and other things, specific character of the route that they're driving, and they can recognize these things.
Take a right at the barn, left at the...
Exactly.
Sit, go.
Men are better at general sense of direction, north, south, east, west. You might not know exactly how to get there, but you have a vague idea of what direction it lies in. And scientists postulate that this is because men who would go out hunting, they would go miles and miles from their encampment, and they'd have to find their way back with very little in the way of landmarks, things like that.
Well, I told you about this. I have a friend who moved to Portland years ago from the Midwest, and I was talking to her on the phone, and she was walking around the downtown area. Mm-hmm. And I asked her where she was, and she's like, oh, I'm by some big buildings, and I'm by that big, long lake. The big, long lake in the middle of the city. And I was like, the big, long lake? And she's like, yeah, you know that big one with all the bridges over the lake? And I was like, that's the Willamette River. You know what I mean?
Does she know what a river is?
I assume she knows what a river is.
Even if she didn't know the name of the river, she would be able to tell the difference. You think she would know it was
a river.
Yeah.
But it was like just this body of water to her. And she like knew where she was based on how tall the buildings were and where the body of water was. Not what it was or where she was at all.
No, we're not saying that she is representative of all women.
I am.
There's also, we talked about the men being stronger than women. I actually tried to look up some of the research here. I did find that study I was talking about with the ice water thing, and it was
a university.
It was an actual study. I forgot to write it all down, but
of course,
basically,
your sources are terrible.
Some researchers, and you were picking me up on the fact that you're saying, well, if men don't feel as much pain, then that doesn't mean that they have a higher pain threshold.
Yes.
But that's not really the point. It's if you have a certain stimulus of pain, the certain measurable amount of pain that you're inflicting on both a man and a woman, and a man is less discomforted by it, then that does mean that he has a higher pain threshold.
But it also means that a person that, like, paraplegic, and you, like, take a saw to his legs and he doesn't flinch because he's looking the other direction,
he feels
that means
less
he has
pain.
an incredibly high pain threshold, right? By that measure.
I get your point, but I mean, it's impossible for us to say, like, okay, this is how this feels to a man, and do that to a woman and say, oh, this is how this feels to a woman.
That's what I'm
and do it
saying.
to a man.
It's impossible to measure.
But they're saying that this might be tied to the presence of GRIK2.
Oh, yeah.
It's a protein that affects pain threshold and also how well morphine and other painkillers work to block pain. And apparently women often need different doses of morphine and other painkillers because they're not as effective as they are for men.
Really?
And so this protein not only affects the fact that they feel more pain, but it's harder to dampen the pain with drugs.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
So, little science get in there. There's also the stereotype that women love to talk. I think we've all heard this.
Yeah, I've heard it. I've observed it by hearing it. You know what I mean?
This is another one that is anecdotally measurable. I think a lot of men would say, yeah, women talk.
Yeah, yammer.
They say the scientific reason for this is that women use both their hemispheres in communication, that both hemispheres of the brain, and that men only use the dominant hemisphere. I don't know why. I don't think they know either.
You're looking for answers, people. You're coming to the wrong place.
Oh, and also the area of the brain in women that is responsible for language is over 17% larger in a woman than it is in the man.
Fascinating.
It is fascinating.
The brain is a poorly understood organ of the body. It's difficult to study.
There's also, I don't know if any of you men have noticed, you might be out with your girlfriend, you're looking at perhaps some wallpaper that you're going to put up. This has never happened to me, but
sounds great.
She's like, oh, I like the fuchsia, or maybe the mauve, or the burnt umber looks really good. And you're like, okay, that's purple, and that's red, and that's orange. Supposedly, women do, on average, have a larger color vision spectrum than men do. And they say that it's because the chromosome responsible for the color red, for being able to recognize the color red, is the X chromosome. And women have 2 X chromosomes, and men only have 1.
That seems
overly
simplistic.
It does, well, I'm sure it is.
It should be twice as good.
Well, no. They're saying that about 40% of women can see a higher range of colors than men. And that red color blindness is much more prevalent in men than it is in women.
40%?
Yeah.
What about the other 60%? Are they less than men?
They're probably about the same.
Okay. Because then men would be better.
But they pretend that they can see the colors that all the other women can see.
Like, oh yeah, I can tell what that burnt umber is or whatever.
And of course the explanation for this is that back in the early dawn of history, when the men were out using their sense of direction to hunt bison, women were back selecting fruits. And if one was bright red, it would kill you. And if one was sort of a kind of burnt sienna reddish kind of sort of color. What are you talking about now?
They're just pulling shit out of your ass completely.
Well, supposedly it might have something to do with the fact that you don't want to kill yourself with whatever you eat. And then the last, what women are, this isn't a better thing.
What women are?
Women cannot process alcohol as well as men. And a lot of people think that has to do with weight. Like there'll be a 110-pound woman who takes 3 drinks and then she goes and passes out. And she's dead on the ground. Be like, oh, well, she's just tiny. But actually that's partly to blame, but it's also the fact that they're just not able to get alcohol out of their systems as quickly.
Yeah.
And they say it's because men and women have a very different water to fat ratio in their bodies.
Yeah.
Men have much more water in their bodies, and women have more fat in their bodies.
Women do have higher body fat than men do.
And so when a man's drinking, it's basically already getting watered down as soon as he puts it in his body.
Really?
And women, it just goes bam right into those cells.
Okay, I'll ask you this question then.
Yes.
What's with the deal with the Asians not being able to handle their liquor?
Well, that's because they did not have access to grain alcohols for much of their history. You think of Northern Europeans, we were drinking grain alcohols for thousands and thousands of years. They had some rice-based alcohols that are different enzymes break those down in your body. It's the same reason that most Northern Europeans aren't lactose intolerant, but almost everyone else has some degree of lactose intolerance. Because we spent a lot of time drinking milk because...
It's delicious?
It's delicious. And also, in Sweden, the milk wouldn't go bad as soon as you got out of the cow.
No, that's right, 'cause it's cold.
In the Mediterranean, the milk would go bad, so you'd make it into cheese, and cheese, the process of milk becoming cheese, gets rid of almost all the lactose.
And that's why you have lasagna. And that's why they have lasagna in Italy, and they have milkshakes in Sweden.
Exactly.
Science.
This is true. This is all true. So there you go. That's a little more of how women are. And you see, we're both good, just in different ways.
Oh, no, you're talking about you and women? Or us and women?
Us
I
and
thought you were talking about me and you.
No.
Okay.
We're both bad.
And that's how women are.
Do-do-do-do.
I can't believe that.
I don't know.
Yeah, they like to put pretty purple panties on. And then they turn around and tell you that every little bit of thing you've ever done is always wrong. Well, they like to cry when they stub their little toe. But no, they don't cry when they tell you to go. No. Yeah, that's how women are. Yeah, I'm talking about how women are. Whoa, women are. Yeah, women are. That's how women are.
Do you have a celebrity minute for us this week, Warren?
I do have a celebrity minute for us.
That's fantastic.
Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show.
I know there's been a lot of speculation about Will and Jada Smith's relationship.
I've been thinking about this non-stop.
There's been some talk that they might be breaking up. Apparently, they were at a Philadelphia 76ers game recently, and they were kissing.
Oh.
So that means everything's fine. And they were on the Jumbotron kissing.
I love this. I love it in all these celebrity relationships where basically if a celebrity is seen with another celebrity coming out of a club, that means that they're engaged. And if they see one celebrity at a dance club without that celebrity being present, that means the relationship is on the rocks.
Exactly. So everything's fine with the Smiths.
Well, I guess we can all breathe a little easier now.
Moving on to our next story.
Yes?
Hugh Grant has a baby.
He had a baby himself?
A baby with a casual fling. Grant's rep said the actor had a, quote, fleeting affair, unquote.
Was this another prostitute?
Her name's Ting Lan Hong.
So she's...
Was the mother.
Chinese or...
Swedish.
Taiwanese.
Yeah. And so he's got a baby now.
Some amazing Asian supermodel or something?
No, seems like she's just some chick.
Didn't he get back together with Hurley for a while after all
briefly, but I don't think that lasted.
Well, who has he been shacking up with lately?
Not with this woman.
I'm assuming the fact that they mentioned it being a fling means that he probably was with somebody else when this happened.
Oh, probably.
I have a little advice for all you ladies out there.
Don't have sex with Hugh Grant?
Well, if a perfectly coiffed, posh-sounding Englishman named Hugh Grant comes up to you and starts using his British charm on you, chances are, if you get in a relationship with him, not going to be faithful.
Now that's news. Oh, want some more news?
Yes.
Katy Perry's dating some guy named Baptiste Giambiconi.
That's great.
They were seen on the Eurostar train together.
The Eurostar train, which goes from Calais to... through the Channel.
Yeah.
To London, yes.
or goes all the way from Paris to London.
Well, yeah.
He's 22-year-old French model.
Mm-hmm.
Only the face of Chanel.
Only the face of Chanel?
He is the face of Chanel.
He's 22. How old is she?
It's an interesting question. I don't know. I think she... Okay, let's guess.
She's like early 20s, right?
This is a... Got to get closer.
Okay.
What number? You can guess first.
Without going over?
No, just closer either way.
Okay, I'm going to say 23.
For her?
Yeah.
Oh my, I'm going 24, and I'm going to get it because she's got to be in her late 20s by now.
No, I don't think so.
She's been a pop star for years.
I don't know.
And I've heard rumors that she was like a Christian pop star before she was a heathen pop star. Everyone else listening to this is like, of course she's older than 23.
I have no idea. Yeah, she's way older than 23. She was born on October 25th, 1984. Math time.
I don't know. Not that much.
She's 28.
She's 28, huh?
Yeah.
That's even younger. I thought she might have been 30 already. Not good for her.
Yeah, she looks pretty good there. We're looking at a picture. She's got some balloons on her body.
Go to her Wikipedia page and see a really great picture.
So that's good celebrity news. So she's over. Or do you think this is a rebound?
Probably.
Because if you're a famous pop star and you were dating Russell Brand, the first thing you do is pick up the Eurotrash French supermodel.
I'll say this about that.
Then you just fling him aside.
Well, yeah. I think we'd all be shocked if the 22-year-old face of Chanel, Baptiste Giaglugi, whatever his name is, and they end up together for years.
Yeah, I've noticed that most French people don't really speak English, so I doubt they have a whole lot to talk about. I'm sure he has chiseled cheekbones.
Yeah.
Probably some abs on him.
What do you think her and Russell Brand talked about?
I don't know. He would just go, and she'd go, ha 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 ha, because she thought it was funny, but she couldn't really understand him.
That's not going to lead to a long-term relationship either, is it?
No.
That's all the celebrity news I have.
That's good.
This has been Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show.
You've been spending a lot of time with your girlfriend lately.
Yeah.
Getting pretty serious. You met the family a while ago.
Yeah.
You had the big birthday celebrations and stuff.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people get worried that once they start getting really serious in a relationship...
There's no way this is going to make the podcast, by the way.
That they're going to lose some of their independence. So... yeah, this won't make the podcast.
Are you kidding? There's no way I can, talk about that on the podcast.
Well, when I was thinking about it, I was thinking of it as, a cool hypothetical, but there's no way that you could say anything
I'll
without
turn this
her,
around on you. Yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
These are your two options for the rest of your life.
Right.
Every waking moment with Katy Perry or every waking moment without Katy Perry.
I have never spoken to Katy Perry, so I have no idea what... I mean, she might be a very interesting person to hang out with. Okay, and if I'm spending every waking moment with Katy Perry, do I have access to her bodies?
Yes.
Body, plural.
Like you're in an intimate relationship with Katy Perry. The thing is, you'll also be in an intimate relationship with Katy Perry when you're both 80.
Yeah. Or not ever see Katy Perry.
Yep.
Well, that's the way I'm living right now. And it's...
Well, that's what I'm asking you, because the thing is about it, if it was just for a couple months, you'd be like, oh, sure. Mm-hmm. Sign me up for the young 27-year-old Katy Perry. This will be great. Mm-hmm. I'm not just talking about the next couple of months. I'm talking about, you're in their 50s with Katy Perry.
And this isn't just you're in a relationship for the rest of your life. This is every moment you are awake, you're with this person. I'm
gonna change this hypothetical. Okay. You're just you're married to Katy Perry.
Okay.
Would you marry Katy Perry today? These vows are locking you in too. This is no I'm gonna get divorced. You're Russell Brand, you're getting kicked aside. It's for life.
Why did they get divorced? Because he wanted kids or something?
They're both flakes. I think that's probably the main reason.
Well, you're not really building Katy Perry up for me by calling her a flake. Have you ever heard her interviewed? What is she like?
I never have. I've never heard her interviewed.
I don't know if I've ever heard her speak.
So, are you actually thinking you may go with the marriage to Katy Perry at this point?
Well, there's a lot. Let's think about the positives here. She's fabulously wealthy.
Yeah.
Pretty damn attractive.
Yeah.
Talented. Mm-hmm. She can sing.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's stupid or not.
That's the risk you're going to take.
I would assume that she probably isn't, because she's not like a totally manufactured pop star.
I don't know. Do you really know if that's true or not?
No, I do know. Like she started. I did hear that her family is very religious, and her dad is.
Well,
like,
that's what I was saying. She was like a Christian singer or something.
And her dad is like this creepy pastor that has kind of the frosted hair and the earring and stuff. Maybe not if it were Katy Perry, because I don't really know that much about her as a person.
Give me a celebrity that you would just marry, like sight unseen right now tomorrow. We go down to the courthouse, marry you.
I would probably steal your first love, the Natalie Portman.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the thing about Natalie Portman is she Ivy League education.
Oh, I know. I was about to say this. Very intelligent.
So she's probably kind of sharp, at least.
Yeah.
Seems to have other things going on rather than just the acting thing and the pretty face.
Of course, you know what? That's actually a negative because...
Oh, my.
She's already amazingly successful.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then if she's Ivy League educated, where I dropped out after 3 years...
Yeah.
How inferior can I feel to my potential partner here, you know? I mean, at least with Katy Perry, yeah, she's rich and she's famous, but we might be able to just be like, ha, 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 and have a conversation. I could maybe wow her with my intellect every once in a while, but I'm not going to be wowing Natalie Portman with anything.
Really?
Can you think of anything about me that would wow Natalie Portman? I don't think so.
Neither can I. That's tough. So you're not going to do Portman?
This is a tough decision.
Oh, it's a really tough decision. Marrying, it's like an arranged marriage. It's an arranged marriage with a very wealthy and good-looking person, but it's still an arranged marriage with someone you don't know.
See, I think I wouldn't do it because there's still that old-fashioned part of me that feels like it's not that I wouldn't want to marry a woman who is successful. I think I would like to because I would respect that. I think that was very cool that they had managed to become successful when especially I have not yet. But I would want to be successful myself first and then interact with somebody who would also attain success, and then we could be successful together.
It's not happening.
Yeah, probably not. But I don't want to just be the kept man in Katy Perry's mansion who every once in a while...
So you're not going to do it? No matter... I'm offering you up the entire array of celebrity women.
Yeah.
Kathy Griffin. Anyone you want.
Oh, God, please. No, I'm not going to do it.
All right. That's probably a good choice.
Yeah, I think so, too. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah, sorry, celebrity women.
This has been the Warren and Bradley Show, brought to you by Warren Van and Bradley Victor. For podcast news and information, like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/Warren and Bradley. Follow the show on Twitter at Warren and Brad. Subscribe on iTunes and leave a review. For episode archives and episode pictures, go to warrenandbradley.com, and to contact the show, write to podcast@warrenandbradley.com.
Oh, yeah.
Where everybody was witnessing this woman being attacked and stabbed and raped.
It's exactly the same.
And they're thinking, someone else will call the police. Of course, people, I mean, look at this spectacle out there. She's screaming. There's a man jabbing her. Of course they called the police.
You people are like those people in Queens many years ago who refused to step in.
Aren't you part of our society? Come on. It's funny because I've had similar situations, though, where when I lived in L.A., I remember a couple times, I mean, you're always hearing gunshots. And when we lived in sort of East Hollywood, which isn't the nice part of Hollywood, it's like, I don't know, none of the touristy area. It's kind of near... No, nobody gives a shit. But anyway,
in case you're trying to find Brad's old apartment.
It's sort of like Little Armenia-ish area. So it wasn't a dangerous neighborhood, but... Every once in a great while, the distant gunshots would become close gunshots. Send a car out and and they just hung up the phone. Very rude. Anytime I've ever had to call the police in L.A., they were extremely rude.
There's supposed to be this thing there I've heard where you can call 911 and then be put on hold for a long time.
That's happened to me before, too.
Yeah, which seems to defeat the purpose of having 911.
If you're actually being attacked at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, could you wait? I need
Just
to
wait a
tell them what's
second.
happening.
We're swamped right now.
But yeah, I remember my girlfriend was really annoyed by this because we were both from the Pacific Northwest, where if anything happens, you call the police and you'll have a SWAT team there within 2 minutes. And so she was looking out the window waiting for the cops to come to investigate this shooting or whatever had happened. And I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes later, a cop car slowly drove down our street. And who knows if that even had anything to do with the fact that we had called the police. But yeah, they're just moseying along. They can't be bothered.
And that'll happen.
Yeah. And there was one time when there were gunshots literally like right down on the street, right in front of our apartment. And so my girlfriend, neither of us were from there, but I had lived there for a couple of years and she had never been there and was just freaked out. It's like, call the cops. I was like, meh. What's the point? It's like, oh, somebody could be shot. And he's like, yeah, we'd probably hear somebody screaming or something.
But that's what happens eventually, though.
Yeah.
But then everyone just goes, eh.
You just develop that sort of mentality, because if you reacted to every little thing that ever happened in a giant big city filled with crime and you know, automatic weapon fire, then that's all you'd be doing is have cops on the speed dial and they'd be like, who is it? Oh God, not you again.
More gunshots, officer.
So finally I relented and called the police, and it's like, yeah, there was several gunshots down on our street. Where do you live? We live at this address. All right. It's like, so are you going to, we'll just ruin the entire...
Every time you do it, we like look at each other and wonder if you're right. That does seem like a very high number to me, but I guess that's right. It could be right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 17. We're rolling along here.
Yeah.
This is longevity.
I gotta get the cigarette out.
Nobody thought we would make it this long.
No, I don't know.
Nobody cares if we made it this long.
We could go on for a long time, I guess.
Now, I keep talking to people who are regular listeners who are always very pleased with the shows. They'll talk to me like, oh, I love this, blah, blah, blah. But then whenever we ask for any sort of interaction with the audience, these same people are always silent, because I think they think that everybody else will do it. You know, it's that kind of that attitude of like, somebody else will do it. Somebody else will write in. Somebody else will give a suggestion. But if everybody thinks that, it was. Remember, you mentioned the Kitty Genovese murder.
The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some magic.
It is magic time. Hello, and welcome once again to the Warren and Bradley Show. This is episode 17 of the program. I'm one of your hosts, Bradley.
And I'm the other host, Warren.
I don't know why I keep trying to say what episode it is, because I might be wrong, and then that